Seen you live yesterday. You was cooking something up out there.
Oh yeah,
You're shooting a video
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so I have a music label called Truth Teller
Mm-hmm.
Productions, and one of the artists on the label, Easto, he just dropped a new project called The Kush. So you should definitely
Okay.
check it out. I feel like I'm already feeling your vibe. I feel like you'd be into it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's called The Kush and it's on available on all platforms. And basically I was directing two of his like kind of he's doing some clips for it, like some video clips to promote the album and everything. So yeah, we were out here in LA, doing some rooftop stuff
Yeah, I
and
seen you behind the camera and all. I said, okay, she had the camera in
yeah.
here. Now that's dope.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
dope. You from Philly? And
Yeah.
also I seen something Lancaster. You from?
I was born in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but I grew up in
Uh,
Philadelphia. So I
yeah, because
moved
I'm
to
from York,
Philly.
Pennsylvania. You heard of that? You heard of York,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania?
That's where you're from?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go. Okay,
That's
okay, that's
dope.
what's
That's
up.
dope.
Please tell me you're a Philly fan, an Eagles
Nah,
fan.
Pittsburgh.
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
okay. Still within PA. How you feel
Yeah.
about Aaron Rodgers leaving?
I wasn't too excited on him coming,
Coming.
but I like what he did for us though. Know what I
Okay.
mean? So, but I wasn't like really too amped on like a 40-year-old quarterback. I mean, but
Okay.
it is
I
what it
mean,
is though.
he's not exactly Brady, because Brady
Yeah,
retired when he was like 45. So
yeah. So know what I mean? And Big Ben was always my guy, and he got us in
Big
the Super
Ben.
Bowl before. You feel me? So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was kind of but.
What about the coach though? What's his name?
Mike
Tomlin?
Tomlin, man,
Mike
that's my
Tomlin. Yeah,
God, man.
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
God. That's a hurt piece. I was
yeah.
hurt.
I think
I was hurt.
he was there for I think they said like 19 years or something like that. 19
Yeah, all
seasons.
winning seasons too.
Yeah, yeah.
All
But I
winning
guess
seasons.
everybody wants something a little different from time to time. I know he wants some big wins, so
Yeah, nah,
gotta
nah, for
respect that.
sure.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure. So, let's jump into it real quick. How did you get into acting and stuff like that?
I actually, I grew up in the theater, primarily, but before I just kind of delved into acting, I had seen the film A Low Down Dirty Shame
Okay.
starring Jada Pinkett. Yeah, so I was, just a little young buck. I wasn't even supposed to be in the theater, because it was like PG-13 and I was way below that mark. But yeah, I was a little kid and I saw what she was doing. It just like really inspired me. And I think me being like a little black girl, I saw this other like younger black woman and it was super exciting to basically just see her be so determined about what she wanted and she was fiery and like feisty, she was funny. It was just like all of those things. And growing up I didn't see a lot of like young black women on screen. Maybe on television, from time to time you would see somebody, but that's when I really kind of got hip to like who she was, and then I started kind of following, like what she was doing, different films and stuff like that she was doing. Again, still wasn't, old enough to see any of them really, but I would sneak and, try to watch and see, as much as I
Yeah.
could. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then I ended up attending a theater program once I had gotten into high school, and I trained at a place called Freedom Theater that was right
Okay.
across the street, yeah, from my high school. And yeah, it's just, year after year, I was starting to do more plays, getting more serious about like my education, just in terms of like being an actor.
Yeah,
And,
I
you
see you
know,
went to Yale. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah.
That's dope.
So,
How'd you handle like those expectations and like the pressure of going to Yale? Because that's a big deal going to Yale.
yeah,
Like,
thank you. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot expected, from me just in terms of like how I could deliver. There was only 15 students in my particular class, like in the drama school. And so out of the actors, there was only two women of color. And, I happened to
or
be the one like black girl, the other, individuals from out of the country. So, it was,
crazy.
yeah, it was tough because I didn't really feel like I had a lot of people that I could identify with. It wasn't necessarily the type of situation where you had a lot of, brown kids, walking around, you know.
For sure.
But I pushed, I persevered, I worked
Okay.
really hard, and I was just driven. I've always been driven. And so when it comes to things that I want to do, I don't really let the no's or the I don't think you can, like those words are not even in my vocabulary. As you saw, yesterday when I was directing Easto's video, it's like
Hmm.
if I see it, or if I just put my mind to it, I'm gonna work very hard to achieve it. So
Yeah, you're
yeah.
real talented too. I'm
Oh,
gonna
thank
tell
you.
you. Nah,
Appreciate
for
it.
sure. You're dope. And like not too many people can like say that they went to Yale and like I mean
Yeah.
famous got through that joint. That's dope, man, for real.
I know you from PA now talking about that John. I'm like, let's go. I'm with
Yeah.
my people. That's what's up.
No. Yeah, word. Nah, but so when you got the Shy role and stuff like that, like was you like familiar with the show?
I was somewhat familiar with the show. I had never really watched it, but I was cast in the third season. So they had
Yeah.
originally come to me for an earlier season for a role, but it just didn't work out. They felt like
Okay.
I was too young for the particular character, so on and so forth. So it just didn't work out, which is fine because I audition for a lot of stuff. If it goes your way, great. If it doesn't, you keep it moving. So when it came back around and they had me audition, this was a brand new character that they were going to be introducing to the cast and everything, and she was going to start out within season 3. So I was excited. I had just moved to LA, so I just wanted to kind of sink my teeth into like some quality work. And I got the audition, and this was happening kind of like it was almost like right as COVID kind of was
Hmm.
starting. So, auditioned. I went like it was a little bit before COVID. I went in, did my audition. I had sent in a tape initially. They sent me like 5 scenes, and then went in to meet with casting and everything, did my scenes again. What can I say? Nah. But
Knock out the park for
But
sure.
yeah, it was a great audition. It was a really wonderful callback. Shout out to Carmen Cuba who cast me in the show. Like she's a phenomenal casting director. And yeah, I ended up, booking that part. And initially I was only offered 5 like episodes, and then I ended up doing a total of 33. So
Yeah,
it was definitely a great look.
nah, that's dope, man. And you
Yeah.
definitely did that though, for real.
Thank you. Yeah, I
You
love playing
definitely
the
did
character
that.
Dre.
It seemed like nothing but like legendary roses coming your way, man. Because you knocked it out the park again, like back to back with the Force, like
Thank you.
Stacy,
Thank you,
like
bro. Thank
that's
you. I
that's my
appreciate you.
homegirl right there, Stacy.
Ah!
Yeah.
Let's go. That's love.
Um.
I appreciate that.
No, for sure. I heard you had to like film both of them at like one point also.
Yeah, yeah. Like at one point I was doing both of them like at the same time. Like
Working.
the shy was kind of ending and Force was starting up. So I had to, fulfill my obligation on the shy, because I was, committed to doing the show and everything. And then Force was starting up. But they both shoot in Chicago and they both shoot on the same lot.
Oh, okay.
So that way it was convenient because it's not like I had to like, change my clothes, jump on a flight, fly to
What?
New York.
Yeah.
It was literally like I'm running from one lot, like one area of the lot over here, to another area of the lot and everything. But that was great. Like you said, I'm all about playing like legendary roles, and I like
Yeah.
to be able to be as versatile, as possible. So it's really been a blessing for all the roles that I've booked thus far, but those two in particular, it
Nah,
was
yeah, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So when like you first read the role and stuff like that, like how did you see Stacy and like was you building Stacy like before?
Yeah, once I had auditioned for the character, they had given me a ton of sides, and so I'm just reading all the audition material. I went back and I watched like all the episodes up until when I was going to be introduced. So I initially come in to season 1 in the finale episode. So that's, episode 10. So I had to just do my research, find out who Tommy was, find out who Tommy was in this show because I knew
Mm-hmm.
Tommy from the previous Power, but like, why was he in Chicago? Why did he leave New York? What was he up to? Was he still gang banging? Is he still, selling drugs? Like, just what was his intention and purpose of, being in Chicago and finding out about all the other characters, what were their relationships, so on and so forth. And, I was learning about what do attorneys do, prosecuting attorneys. What does the U.S. Attorney do? Because that's a really big role,
And that
as
was your first time ever playing some type of role like that?
yeah.
Yeah.
I never played like an attorney, let alone a U.S. attorney,
Yeah,
because the
you went
U.S.
crazy
attorney.
on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they're appointed by the president. So it's a very like top tier, type of an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically I'm watching forensic files, I'm watching crime TV, like I'm just
You
learning as
tapped
much as I
in.
can. Yeah, just tapped in, and so that's how I started like building her up, So after I did that first episode, then they called me back. They said, we want to bring you in for a series regular and really build out this character. So she was originally the assistant U.S. attorney. And
Mm-hmm.
then once I came back for the top of season 2, they took that assistant off. She was just, the U.S. attorney. So, it's been nothing but a blessing, yo. Like, I had a blast playing Stacy until they blast me off, you know. But it was great.
Um, has it hit you though, like how big Stacy became, like in like the Power universe though?
Being a part of Force, it was great because it was like being a part of that universe and understanding like what that fan base, what it's like. Of course, me being, the protagonist, but in my mind, I'm the protagonist, right? In Tommy's mind, I'm the antagonist. So of course
Yeah,
I'm gonna deal with the Stacy haters. Everybody's not gonna, show me all the love and everything like that. But there have definitely been people like yourself that have really been tuned into the actual craft, like, yo, you are up here doing this thing, and not
yeah. I
treating
can't
me like,
believe that that was your first time ever playing like some like a U.S. attorney, like lawyer,
yeah, yeah.
anything like that. Like it's crazy because like the way you played it, like really knocked it out the park for real. That was
Thank
dope.
you. Thank you. I just, I try to get really, emerge in the work that I'm doing and completely give over to what it is, give over to what these writers are writing, for that particular character. So it was great. So of course you're gonna have the love, you're gonna have the hate, but overall, it's like, yeah, it's I can't just walk into the airport, without somebody being like, yo, that's Dre, or yo, that's Stacy
For
Marks,
sure. Nah,
which
but
is
that
it is.
gotta be like the best feeling in the world though,
Yeah,
for real.
and it's really funny when people are like, "Oh, we loved you as Dre, but we couldn't stand you as
Mm,
Stacy." But they always say, "But that's because you were doing your job." So
yeah,
it feels good. I mean, at the end of the day, to be doing what I love, to be inspired by another Black woman as a little kid, and now I'm hopefully inspiring, other individuals that are coming up and being like, "Yo, I can play an attorney. I
for
can play
real.
a psychiatrist or something like that." So I just want to like play inspirational roles, have fun with it, peel back layers, show people that like, people have a vulnerable side, like that there's just different layers to people, like I am not a monolith and neither are the characters that I play. So
Word.
yeah, love showing that versatility.
So like, how much of you was in Stacy? How much were like you able to put of you in
Yeah,
there
that's a
besides
great
like the?
question. Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, there are the automatic similarities, right? That we just see. Okay,
Hmm.
two Black women, highly educated. They actually wrote in the script that Stacy went to Yale. And so you
Oh,
hear
okay.
her, yeah, you hear her say that in, I think it's episode 7
Damn, I
in
ain't
season
catch that.
3.
That's crazy.
You
I
got
ain't
to go
catch
back and
that.
watch. You got to go back and watch.
Word.
But she's talking with the reporter, and the reporter asks her, like, how did she get into really wanting, to fight law, like fight criminal law, and be a criminal law attorney. And basically, she says, well, her younger brother, or it was either her younger brother, or her older, but her brother had been murdered, and so this came from like gun violence and just
Mm,
like street gangs, like that type of negativity that was in their community where they grew up in Chicago. And so she was inspired to, want to get into law and fight against like criminal activity and everything. So anyway, black, both women, Yale, and obviously I went to Yale School of Drama. She went, to Yale Law, but
mm-hmm.
it's extremely difficult to get into any program at Yale.
For sure.
So yeah, so those similarities, the similarities where she grew up in the inner city, I grew up in the inner city, you're used to being one of the only. So one of the only black people, or one of the only black women, or one of the only women, So I understood a lot of what she was dealing with and how she was trying to like climb the ranks, and just go up the ladder. And now she's looking into becoming a mayor. And that was actually placed upon her. Like she didn't seek out that opportunity. The powers that be saw what she was doing, the great work that she was doing, and put this in her mind like, hey, you should run for mayor and you have the support behind you. So even with that, like being told, oh no, you probably shouldn't do this, or you're at the bottom of the totem pole, and wanting more for myself. I think we also like really had that in common. It's like being the underdog, but knowing that you can reach for the stars and accomplish whatever you put your mind to. So,
That's dope.
I would have to say her being determined. I wish I could have gave her a little more humor, but Stacy was there to like, get it done.
Nah,
Um,
Stacy was her for real. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. I thought Vic was gonna go down for your body when he ran up on Tommy and
yeah.
he grabbed the gun from his back. I thought that was the gun that he used for you. But
I
then,
mean, it
cause
could,
it
it could
didn't
have,
play out that way though. But I thought that was
right.
gonna happen though.
Yeah, yeah. No, they kept Vic around. I think they had
Yeah,
to keep some of the leads around. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't take us all out. They took me
yeah.
out, they took Diamond out, they took out Claudia, her father in the previous season. So it's like you got to keep some people around to really keep the story like interested and keep it going and everything. So I hung in there as long as I could.
No, for sure. So like, you shooting like your final scenes and stuff like that. What was like the mood on set like for you? Like, just knowing like that like that was like your final scenes and stuff like that. Was it like a good feeling knowing what you did or?
It was bittersweet that the show was ending and that my character was being killed off, but it felt really good knowing that number one, she was going to go out with like conviction, knowing she was going to stand up to Tommy, knowing that she did everything that she possibly could. And for me as an actress, knowing that I did everything that I could in order to really fill her shoes. I really tried to make sure I had turned over every stone, when it came to like her character. And I tried to tap into every emotion that I could and just really make her as full as possible. So she didn't just seem like this angry black woman, that's
Yeah,
just chasing after this white guy. Cause it wasn't about race. It was more so just about cleaning up the streets and how
yeah. She
that
was doing
also
her
was
job.
she's doing
Word.
her job and she has to do the job because if she doesn't do the job she's going to be taken out and not necessarily by him but by the system that she actually works for. So I think some people get it confused. Like it's like you have to understand who the character is and what is the purpose of the character. If you don't have anybody trying to clean the streets up, the show is just going to be one note. It's all going to just be, oh, okay, they threw somebody off of the roof. Oh, they shot somebody. Oh, somebody takes drugs. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to have a good, kind of versus the bad, like that sort of dynamic happening in order to make it really interesting and to make it thrive. And, Stars did really great because, we've been one of the top shows and everything on the network. So kudos to
No, for
Stars and the
sure.
team.
And
Yeah.
you also show like your good acting skill when you pulled up on Tommy for the first time and like let him know
Yeah.
that shit was dope right there. Like,
Thank you.
nah,
Yeah.
for
I love
sure.
shooting that scene. That was the first time that I worked with Joseph Sikora on set and everything. And so it was wonderful just coming into that like that day and rehearsing, prior to actually shooting with him and me seeing the car and being like, you know what, I want to go do something to that vehicle. Like I have to show him that I'm not afraid of him. I'm not intimidated by his energy or his ways. And that, oh, you think you're a boss? Well, I know I'm a boss. And
Mm-hmm.
so two bosses, when they meet, their energy is gonna, collide and everything. So I was like, you sit on your car, I'll sit on it too. What you gonna
No,
do?
for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
Where, yeah,
Yeah.
you pulled up boss, you bossed up on him real quick. I said,
I had
okay,
to. I
see
had to.
Stacy. Where,
Yeah.
um, so what you thought about that season finale?
Yo, I thought the finale was crazy. Like, I
Crazy.
hadn't seen the final script because basically it's like if you're not in that particular episode, you probably won't like see the script. So we get our scripts, episode by episode. So once I was done, I was done. I wasn't privy to what else was being written.
Oh, okay.
I knew it was going to be something fantastic. I was hearing things about like Tariq, coming and being on the show, but I didn't know how it was going to play out. I did not know that Bobby was going to be taken out. I'm like, no, they
Word.
took Bobby out. And then it was
Word.
Sang of all people, like the mole, who
Yo,
wanted my job.
that part was crazy. Like I was not expecting that. That
Yeah,
was wild right
that was
there.
it was a hurt piece to see that happen, but it was actually one of like my favorite moments because you get to see just how like dark and cold, but how light Sang's energy is. Shout out to Elaine Yu because he's the actor that he did a phenomenal job. But in the scene prior to that, if you can remember, Bobby comes and he like chokes him up by the collar and
Hmm.
he's pretending like he's scared, right? And then for him to just pull out that piece and just take him out like that, I was
Like I
like,
thought he was
whoa,
scared for real though.
he's acting.
That yeah,
So
that was crazy
look,
because I don't think nobody expected that to happen right there. Like
Tommy
nobody.
didn't even expect it to happen. So this is when Elaine is like super dope because not only is he acting as the character Sang, but then he's also acting within acting because he has to pretend like he's really fearful when we
Yeah, for
know
real. He's
we
not.
see, oh, he's not fearful at all and he will kill you in cold blood and walk away. And then he put gloves on and he's like, I'll
Yeah,
clean this up.
yeah, like he be doing that.
I was
For
like, the
real.
audacity of this man. Like,
Nah, that's crazy. I thought Tommy was going to two at first when
exactly. Exactly.
that was like a whole crazy switch up right there too, and then like
Absolutely.
it ended up being Ortega, but that part right there I kind of didn't understand because like Ortega was like he was supposed to be like a stone cold like boss, and
Yeah.
then it just felt like his character got kind of like humbled.
Yeah, like they ended up taking him out and I don't think anybody saw that coming, but I think the writers
Nah,
wanted to like just keep, like the anticipation up of like what was going to happen and like the suspense, so like when they have like that little meeting and the guy is like, oh, there's been one person, I forget the character's name right now, but he's like, oh, there's been one person that's really been stirring, the pot
Tay,
since he, right. And so when they took him out, I think we were all surprised, but also
yeah,
he had a hit out, on Tommy. So I think a lot of
hmm,
people were like relieved because Tommy could have easily been taken out that time. He could have when Tommy came to kill me, when we met up, if I had backup, Tommy would be dead.
done.
Because it would have been easy to just take him out. If Bobby, because a lot of people have been like, why didn't Bobby bring backup? You saw what happened to Stacy. Again, if Bobby had backup, Tommy would have been done. So they
Yeah,
had to write it in a very specific way so that
I
Tommy
got you.
basically keeps his life because you know what I mean? Like
I
as soon as
got
he would
you.
have pulled the gun on Stacy, they would have pulled the gun on him. That would have been it for Tom. Tommy would have been done in episode 7. You know, so
Yes, I would have been done.
he
So,
would have
what
been
you thought
done. He
about
would have been done.
Tyreek coming back?
You said what?
Uh, what you thought about Tyreek coming back to
I thought it was dope. I thought it was a nice way to like tie in. another character from another show, but the worlds are still similar. There's a relationship between Tommy and Tariq. I thought it was dope. He gets to meet D Mac, like, he's meeting the other nephew
Yeah.
and kind of like thinking, wow, what would that be like, if they had joined, forces together, like in another in a future, project or whatever. So, everybody's talking power legacy, we'll see. But I thought it was
Hmm.
really cool to like show that for sure. I liked how he came in at the point in which he came in,
Yeah.
because there's like all these
Yo,
bodies dropping and then the
Tommy
camera
was about to
pans
go
over to him.
again.
Right, exactly.
He was about
Exactly.
to go again.
See? So if Tariq hadn't showed up and been right there, who knows what had happened.
No, for real. Do
Yeah.
you be hearing about like all these theories and stuff like that about the
When
shows and
I
stuff?
yeah, when I tap into social media, you do have people that are like, "Oh, well, we're thinking this might happen," or "What is this?"
Like that
But
whole ghost theory. They were saying how like Ghost's name was on the credits on the 10th episode, and
I
then because it
saw
got
that.
taken off, and then
Yeah.
it's just so them
It
doors
was
be cr-
weird. They were saying that for IMDb. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's coming in and everything." I was just like, "Wait, what?" Like it was confusing to me a little bit because I knew that that wasn't gonna happen. Like I knew
yeah,
that Tariq was gonna probably be on the show, but like Ghost, I was like, what? Like as a ghost? What do you mean?
as a ghost. Word.
What are
So,
you talking about? But that's what I'm saying. Like you can't really tap too much. You can tap in a
yeah.
little bit, but you can't get caught up. It's fan talk. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you can't get too caught up in that.
If Stacy was in the OG Power, who would she clash with first?
Maybe Ghost. I don't
Ghost.
know. Yeah, or maybe Tommy, you know what I mean? Like if she had the same position that, she does on Force, like if it was the same position, then I think very easily she could have clashed with, like either one of them. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Right. Um. So let's talk about the music real quick. Monk Flow. I like that one.
That's
I
what's
like
up.
Shia LaBeouf.
Let's go.
I like Rick Owens.
Come on.
That Rick Owens is my favorite one though. I ain't gonna lie.
That's what's
That
up.
don't
As long as
that
you have a
don't lit.
favorite, that's
Yeah,
what's
Rick
up. Thank
Owens.
you.
Nah, you definitely do go crazy. When did the music start for you? Did you always know you was nice though?
Oh, well, thank you. I kind of started out as a dancer, so that was my connection, like to music. I've just
Okay.
always like if the beat is dope, I can move to it. I'm like, okay, yeah, they got something with that. But it kind of came out of when I came out of graduate school. I was doing a lot of Shakespeare, and there's a lot of rhythms, within like prose and and like verse, more even rhythms like within verse, but just in Shakespeare text, just in general. And I always was just really inspired by the word, and so just started playing over some like industry instrumental beats, and I would write like a couple of lines, send it to my homeboy Easto, who's like one of my main producers. He would write a couple of lines, send it back to me, and now we're just going back and forth, spitting bars.
Okay.
And then he was playing with like learning how to do beats, and then he was just like, she's using these industry beats, maybe I can just make some beats. So he made Monk Flow, he made that beat. He made what other one did you say? Rick Owens. He did
Rick
the beat for
Owens.
Rick
Yeah.
Owens. um
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. He actually, we had an outside producer do the track for Shia LaBeouf. This guy named Sachi. But yeah, and Air Jordan, who's on Rick Owens, and then who's also on Shia LaBeouf. That's my cousin. He's also on the label.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes by Air Jordan, Heir Jordan. So my team has been rounding out. Everybody has something to contribute. Everybody's really talented. So yeah.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope. So what's up next for you though?
I mean, I'm like already in the process of doing some stuff, but I it's confidential. Like I can't,
Okay.
really talk
Nah.
about it. But
Okay.
just know it'll be totally different, from what you've been seeing in the past.
Fire.
Yeah, and I'm thankful. I'm always grateful to do what it is that I love. And then with the music, I have a mixtape coming out called Freestyles for Free. That's what I'm calling it right now. I might
So,
potentially change it up, but it's all like freestyles. But this time it's all to original beats. So the last mixtape that I dropped, it was called Sweet 16. And I
okay.
did 16 different like freestyles, but they were all industry beats. So with
I'm
this,
about to tap in. I didn't even see that.
yeah,
Where?
yeah. So if you go on my page, or even like the label, they've been putting some up. So it's like different photos, and then they added the music to like all
Okay.
of the photos and everything. So each verse is maybe like a minute, long, but I'm just going in, riding the beat and all different, tracks, all original. So nothing you've ever heard, before. But yeah, I got that rhythm and flow. Like I just, come in and I
For
go
sure.
crazy. Yeah. And then I have, so Shia LaBeouf, the song that you just mentioned, that came off of my project called Family Over Everything, FOE. And we're going to be doing a part two for that. Like that next album is going to have like a part two effect on it. So we haven't decided what we're going to call it yet, like Family
Mm,
Business,
okay.
Family Over Everything part two, or like whatever. But yeah, I was just going to say I got some more voiceover stuff coming out too, because I do a lot of voiceovers, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
commercials, animation, video games, like all of that stuff. So, I try to really spread myself, not thin, but just put myself, out there. So I have a lot of different things, that I'm working
That's what
on.
I was gonna
And
ask you now. I remember
yeah.
too. You're gonna put out videos though. You're gonna put out like a lot of visuals
Yeah,
for
there's gonna be visuals for the whole like mixtape. There's gonna be visuals for every single like
okay.
song. So all of that stuff is being developed and everything. We're just knocking out Easto's project right now, which you saw yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then once his project is all finalized, then we move on. We try to like tap into each artist, and make sure that they're getting all the attention and everything that they need. And then we move on to the next artist, that next project. And then you move on to the next one and everything like that. So as an independent label, it's really a blessing to be able to focus in that way. Because sometimes with the bigger labels, they have so many artists that they're dealing with. Sometimes you don't really feel
They
like you're
can't
getting the
get.
attention paid to you that you
Mm-hmm.
feel, you either require or maybe you think you deserve or like whatever. So, I'm loving that with TTP because, they really are able to just like really focus on us one at a time. So, lots on the way. So definitely 2026 is looking great. You got to
So
definitely be on the lookout.
if you could give some advice to an actor trying to break in right now,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I would say do your research. Make sure you're getting into this business for the right reasons because a lot of people are just chasing the fame and like, oh, I want to be famous. And it's not really about that. I mean, if you become noticed, appreciated, respected for the work that you're doing, great. But don't do it just because you want people to like notice you when you're walking down the street. It's like, that's actually, there's really no substance, like in that. You have to do it because you're drawn to it, you've been inspired, you want to inspire other people, and really because you care about the craft. You spoke about me playing multiple characters. That's not just because I want to be noticed. That's because I really believe in the craft of being able to tell stories and speak the truth of text. And
Yeah.
so with that, whether I'm doing Lorraine Hansberry, Raisin in the Sun, or I'm doing Antony and Cleopatra, William Shakespeare, or I'm doing Piano
Last
Lesson, August
last
Wilson.
holiday too, right? That's what it was
Yeah,
called. That joint was
that's a
dope
that's a
too.
film that I did. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
the, the Lost Holiday, and yeah, that's the thing. Even with those projects, like I got some of my music in those films. I have some of my music on the shy. Like I've been able to have my crafts kind of work in tandem,
Nah, that's
and
dope to have that too.
yeah,
Music placements is crazy. Like that's
exactly.
fire.
Exactly. So some artists, again, they just put music out, but it's like, okay, well, there's multiple things you can do with this music. So what's your focus? But again, with my label, that's how, we're like trying to make sure that you're getting as much support as you can, getting as many ears listening to it. So whether you're streaming it, on all these platforms, you're watching television and you hear it, you're watching a movie and you hear it, it's like, yeah, we're gonna reach you. It's gonna happen.
For sure, man. So I wish y'all nothing but success.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
appreciate you again. It was an honor to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
For this was dope. I'm gonna stay
Thank you.
tapped in too.
Yes, I want to thank you so much for having me. Anytime, we could talk about the music when I got some projects that are dropping. I love to rap with you. Definitely love to have you on, with some of the other artists under the label. But yo, thank you so much. If I
Nah,
can
I
convince
appreciate
you,
you.
if I can convince you to be a Eagles fan, that's
Uh,
the next thing I'm trying to do.
nah, it's never gonna happen. Nah, but yeah, honor for real. Like
Appreciate you.
this was dope.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna stay tapped in. All right.
All right, that's what's up. We'll talk soon. Peace.